Alrighty, well, hey there, everybody. John here with Crypto Top 10, coming at you with more trending articles in the crypto news space. Get you going on December the 11th. As always, straight off the top, thank you to everyone who has subscribed. I really do appreciate it. It lets me know I'm doing something right. So, yeah, thanks. And all the articles we talked about should be found in a link or links down in the description depending on where you're finding this content. But without further ado, let's jump on in. First things first, I looked high and low for an article, but I could not find one, which means this really isn't trending, but I did get the update on my phone about the Pi network. It recently crossed 10 million pioneers, as they call them. Not the, it makes sense. But as a result of that, the mining rate was halved again. It looks like the base rate went pretty low. Looks like base rate is looking like it's about 0.2. Prior to this, it was more like 0.5 that you were able to mine with Pi. The more people who participate in the network, the lower the mining rate goes. The next time we are going to expect to see a drop is when the mainnet launches, which is phase 3, and they're talking about a year. They've actually put a time frame on it. It's looking like it's going to be mid to the end of 2021, which is really cool for Pi. For those of you who've been mining it for a long time, you know you've got a bunch of it, and as of yet, no one has been able to redeem their balances for anything. Throughout my research and just what little information I can find online, people have been valuing the Pi coin anywhere from 5 cents to $5, though it feels like the most people put it in the 40 to 60 cent range, but I have seen some pretty extreme things on either end. If you've been mining Pi since the beginning of everything, even at 5 cents, you might have a fair chunk of it, but more than likely it's gonna finally launch around the $1 mark, even if it's just purely because they can claim 10 million plus participants in the network. Now, how many of those users are updating every day? That I don't know, but at the very least, actively, there's probably a good 500 to a million users if you assume that 10%, just 10% of the number that they're saying is actually actively interacting with the protocol. So pretty darn cool. Again, I couldn't find any articles about it, and I debated about just writing one myself. It's definitely worthwhile to look into. If you haven't, it's completely free to use. They have a few ads on it. Probably just the way the team can make money while they do all their development, because they can't sell the Pi that they have for anything because there is no exchange that takes it as of yet, but that's on them. The sooner they do that, the sooner we can all benefit from Pi. Hopping on over, though, let's talk about Wi-Fi, AAVE, Comp. All of them have plunged about 10%. DeFi as a whole is seeing a pretty huge correction. That's 10% drop came over about 20 to 24 hours after the market is pulling back due to Bitcoin and Ethereum prices falling. Now that Ethereum 2.0 is going through and some of the hype of Bitcoin hitting its new all-time highs kind of faded away, we're seeing a bit of pullback as obviously some people are taking in some well-deserved profits. There's probably a decent number of people who bought into Bitcoin 3-4 years ago now when it was in the $17,000 range, who are finally able to sell at a break-even price, or at a loss, or at a small loss, or at even a small gain. So I'm assuming there's going to be some play in this area. I'm not too concerned about the pullback on the crypto market as a whole. I just kind of see this as a cooling off and a correction, so that way we can consolidate and then break up in the new year. So the three big reasons behind DeFi in particular dropping: Well, they've got fairly low volume compared to things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Anything with a lower volume is at risk to higher and higher swings because fewer and fewer people doing things can push the market in one direction or another. DeFi tokens have in recent weeks shown signs of a lower correlation against Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, in the short term, a lot of people have felt compelled to sell DeFi tokens because Ethereum and Bitcoin dropped nearly 10% within 2 days. The timing of the Bitcoin price drop matched with the DeFi market's correction on December the 11th, so today, as Bitcoin's price started to decline from 18,400, leading DeFi tokens began to correct as well. A strong correction of DeFi assets is a bit of a surprise. Recently, they've had pretty good momentum. Comp rallied more than 56% in 1 week. YFI was up really high off some really good news. We've talked about that on this channel before. Their EIP protocol, I believe it was 64, had a lot of really good changes. It was just an improvement protocol that got voted through. So it's looking like this is more just a market-wide correction rather than anything a particular token has or hasn't done correctly. As more and more people are getting used to the fact that Ethereum's 2.0 phase 0 has launched, the momentum of Ethereum has kind of slowed down a little bit. And since most DeFi protocols use Ethereum as their base, when Ethereum drops, your total value is going to drop. When your total value drops, that makes people nervous, and it just kind of creates this circular effect. Total value locked across DeFi protocols dropped from 15 billion to just under 14 billion in the past 4 days. So, just $1 billion, which seems like a lot. But when you compare it to the fact that DeFi only really got going this year, and as of October, we were around $10 billion, we're going to see some fluctuations. It's just going to happen. And then, of course, short-term Bitcoin price uncertainty. With Bitcoin kind of trending downward again, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Personally, we know where Bitcoin's going to go. The imbalance in the Bitcoin options market favors the bears right now. So for the foreseeable future, it's just kind of this storm that's like, well, everything's kind of meh, but we've been doing so well. So I feel like there's a little bit of pullback again to consolidate before we push for stronger and stronger and higher and higher. Just my opinion. But that's your DeFi news on the day. Ugh, they can do it. Believe me, they can. A bit of interesting and slightly controversial, but maybe good news. One of the IOTA founders, David Sønstebø, is exiting the IOTA Foundation. The IOTA Foundation parted ways with him yesterday in a unanimous decision by the supervisory board of the IOTA Foundation, citing various divergent interests. They were quoted as saying, "It's become clear that David's interests and the interests of the IOTA Foundation have diverged significantly." Sønstebø founded and introduced IOTA in 2015 as a highly scalable blockchain that aimed to record, store, and execute transactions between multiple electronic devices, a type of technological approach popularly known as the Internet of Things that's been gaining wider and wider traction. So while IOTA is an open source platform where any developer can commit to, work on, and propose new ideas, the IOTA Foundation was created back in 2018 to oversee the research, education, and standardization of the technology and explore different ways it could be deployed in the world. Sønstebø's broader vision for the project has been different from what the 120-member strong foundation aims for. So 120 people voted unanimously to kick this guy out. The latter alleged, so the foundation, there were several instances where David's actions were not aligned with what the foundation stands for or who we aspire to be. Oof. So with his exit, the original IOTA founding team is down to just 2. Sergey Ivanchenko, who worked with the team in 2015, also departed last year in a controversial move that even called for Sønstebø's resignation at the time. So it sounds like there's been a bit of drama behind the scenes at IOTA, and they're finally kicking the bad blood out. I hate to see it, as obviously you don't want any founder to leave a project. I can see IOTA's price falling in the short term because of this, but the foundation is probably positioning itself to be in a better place in the long term if their interest had really diverged as much as they seem to be saying that they are. Again, pretty scant on the details, though I do take the not aligned with what the foundation stands for and who we aspire to be to mean he may not have been behaving personally in a manner that would reflect well on the foundation as a whole. But I don't have any evidence of that. That's just wild speculation based on one sentence from a tweet. So take that as you will. I still rather like IOTA. They've got an interesting concept. They're partnered up with a lot of interesting people. I think they'll be okay long term, but I would expect some short term problems as well as just broader market corrections. And moving on, Cardano. So, unlike Ethereum, which treats ERC20 and ERC721 token standards as fundamentally different from Ethereum, Cardano is going to be doing something a bit different when they finally launch their own tokens. That's right, Cardano is working on the Goguen upgrade, which when goes live will enable smart contracts and native tokens just like ERC20s on Ethereum, but they're going to be a bit different. Obviously, Cardano is hoping to do this so they can jump into DeFi, but instead of just copying Ethereum, they're going to be taking a rather innovative approach depending on who you talk to. They're putting efficiency before everything else, which is quite interesting. So to understand what Cardano is doing, let's just summarize how Ethereum does it. Both their fungible and non-fungible tokens on Ethereum require the creation and implementation of custom code because the Ethereum chain doesn't offer native token support. So there's some space left for human error, as any mistake in the code for these ERC20 or ERC721 tokens could lead to significant losses. Well, most ERC20 tokens go through a lot of fact-checking in GitHub and rigmarole before they actually go live. There's a lot of ERC20 tokens out there, so that risk is probably being played up by this article just a little bit, personal opinion. But once the smart contract era of Goguen comes live, they're going to be introducing a mechanism that allows the blockchain to handle tokenization natively. That's right, Cardano will be able to do it on-chain versus Ethereum that kind of does it on-chain but off-chain and you need your own code. So the logic behind tokens will be based on the Cardano ledger rather than on smart contracts. It takes out some steps. So it will most importantly enable any assets on the Cardano blockchain to behave in a very similar way to ADA. The only difference between the two is going to be that tokens can be destroyed and that only ADA can be used to service fees, rewards, and deposits. So there you go. Similar to how when you send an ERC20 token, you often have to pay the gas fees in Ethereum. All this is going to be done through the native tokens framework, which is essentially an accounting system defined as part of the Cardano ledger that enables tokens to be transactioned with. Native tokens remove the need to use custom code or costly smart contracts, effectively removing the unnecessary layer of expensive complexity and inherent inefficiency found on the Ethereum chain. I really like Cardano. I like what they're doing with this. It remains to be seen just how much they're going to be able to chip away at Ethereum. First mover advantage is a real thing. The absolute best thing going on for Ethereum right now is that they got to all this first. How many users are going to want to pull out of the known Ethereum benefits that they get with DeFi for the unknown with Cardano? It remains to be seen. I personally am pretty excited to see what they've got going on, or once Goguen goes live, if the Daedalus and Yori wallets will actually enable airdrops. I'd rather like to see it, personally. I just want it to be here already. Cardano has been doing fairly decent price-wise. It is trading around 13.5 cents. It got up almost to 17 or 18, nowhere near its all-time high of $1 and I think 22 or 32 cents. But it's definitely done well from its yearly low of 2 cents. So everyone on Cardano should be fairly happy. Not ecstatic, but fairly happy. They seem to be making the right moves and moving in the right direction. But that's enough of that. Let's move on to XRP and the smart the Spark token. All right, so hopping on over, just a little update. For those of you who aren't aware, Flare has decided to airdrop Spark tokens to any XRP holders. They're going to be taking a snapshot of XRP balances on December the 12th. So tomorrow, if you're watching this in the future, sorry, the 45 billion Spark tokens will be awarded to XRP owners, except Ripple Labs and a few previous Ripple employees, like the really, really high up ones, at a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you're holding 1,000 XRP, you'll get about 1,000 Spark tokens if your exchange supports the airdrop. So I would definitely want to be researching what exchanges support the airdrop. If you are looking to get some Spark, make sure the exchange you have them on does. Or if you have a fun native wallet like Exodus wallet or something like that, making sure that they support it as well, so you can get your airdrop. So it's a good idea and time to do all that, but is it a good idea to long XRP after such a big rally? Because it has definitely, the price has tripled as the date of the airdrop nears. I would definitely be very adverse to doing that. Probably a lot of people are buying up XRP because they want to get this 1-to-1 ratio drop, especially since Spark looks like a pretty decent program. Afterwards, we could see, honestly, a fairly big Ripple sell-off, so do be very, very careful. But make sure that if you have XRP, you hold an account on an exchange that supports the Flare Spark airdrop, and that you can get on there, so that way you can get that snapshot going. After the snapshot, I believe you should be able to just transfer the XRP right back to whatever wallet you keep it on, but do not quote me on that. Do your own research. That way you can get this free stuff. Wow, what fun. Honestly, I don't own any XRP, so I'm not going to partake in this. I know, very sad, but I'm not going to go rushing to buy up a bunch of stuff. I got a wife. I got a 1-month-old. I ain't got money. My money's in diapers. Woo, diapers for days. But just wanted to do that little update for you guys so you know, if you have not already moved it to an exchange and you hold XRP, you probably should. Starting to get towards the end of things, but a little update. Cryptopia, which was hacked back in 2019, just said in a blog post on Wednesday, the New Zealand branch of the accountancy firm Grant Thornton says that it's opened a claims portal which will allow the affected users from this hack to register for repatriation of property that the exchange still holds. All accounts were frozen after $17 million in either Ethereum or ERC20 tokens were stolen during a hack in early 2019. Grant Thornton said that the sheer volume of emails means it is informing users about the portal in batches throughout the week. So basically, look, there's a lot of people. We're going to send out to this many, then this many, then this many. You'll get your email eventually. Don't worry about it. Around 960,000 former Cryptopia users will be informed, and those registering are being asked to confirm some account details to ensure only verified users of the exchange make claims. Definitely keep an eye out for this email if you were affected by the Cryptopia hack. Also, be on the lookout for any scam emails trying to get you to give them sensitive information. So, be careful with this. As previously reported, Grant Thornton said that steps are necessary to ensure the repatriation of assets complies with New Zealand law. In April of this year, a ruling by the High Court in Christchurch said that customers were entitled to the assets they held in Cryptopia accounts because they determined those assets to be classified as property, which is actually what cryptos are classified as in the United States as well, I believe. In turn, that ruling paved the way for Grant Thornton to initiate the claims. It marks the launch of the Cryptopia Claims portal to start the process of returning account holders' property. Woo! At the time of liquidation, Cryptopia had $100 million in crypto. It's not clear what percentage of the original holdings users will be able to get back through their claims process, but the large number of account holders, 37 creditors, 90 shareholders, and New Zealand's tax agency are also seeing a good chunk of the company's remaining assets, so there's a good chance it's not going to be 100%. Just my opinion. Could be wrong, but I highly doubt it. And then to kind of wrap things off, let's talk a little bit about where we think Bitcoin's price correction is going to go. This article says we're not going to see 20K in 2020. I wouldn't say never. It's crypto, baby. You don't know what's going to happen. But the correction mode Bitcoin's price seems to be in right now is causing it to drop. It's bounced back a little bit since then. It looks like when this article came out, they're saying 17,600. Looks like it's back up to 17,900, almost 18,000 again. So we're going to see a bit of fluctuation back and forth. They're saying this rally is over. I don't believe that. I personally think this is just a brief sell-off period and consolidation phase before the rally continues. This correction seems to have started with the price currently down more than 10%. Not anymore. Meanwhile, some recent news, namely the proposed crypto regulation in the United States, which pops up every now and then. It shouldn't affect the price as much as it does. It doesn't. Bitcoin has grown to the point that the United States is not going to be able to just ban it. There are too many big companies. Just take a look at Grayscale. For one, PayPal, Twitter, Circle, all these companies investing heavily in crypto and holding crypto. It, in the United States, I'm sorry, is pretty much a corporatocracy at this point. They're not going to ban it. It's going to ban it. It's making too many people in the United States too much money. The most they'll do is regulate it to make it look like they're doing something. They're not going to ban it. Regulations will be a pain, and we'll see some short-term dips because of it, and I think this may be one of them. But it's not going to kill Bitcoin, so people need to calm down. Other markets have also suffered this week. Equities are cooling off. I think it's just kind of a general sigh. The market's kind of relaxing a little bit. Coronavirus, particularly in the United States, is still pretty heavy. The euphoria that came from the vaccine announcements is kind of worn off now that we know a lot of people won't be getting them to mid next year, which that's what people have been saying all along. But, yeah. So the support zone is about 18,500 to 18,700 for Bitcoin to regain its bullish trend. This zone needs to be reclaimed and flipped for support. Failed to do so, which is why it slid down. Overall, this downtrend will post lower highs and lower lows until a clear bottom is found. I'm hoping 17,600 was the true bottom, and we're going to be back above 18K by midday. Bitcoin's not going to crash like it did before. That's my personal opinion, and you can take that absolutely nowhere because I'm just some dude in my basement. Based on the daily charts, they're saying the support zone is 16,000. I don't see us getting there. Bitcoin's price bounced strongly from that region last month, and it was the first massive support zone on the daily time frame as well. I think we're going to hover in the 17,800 to 18,200 range for a little bit. But there's definitely a chance it could swing down in the short term. Any more downside for Bitcoin's not going to benefit our altcoins at all. Correlations are still very high in crypto between the two, though not as bad as it was in 2016. But it still means altcoins will most likely suffer from any Bitcoin correction. However, once Bitcoin stabilizes, altcoins will likely be well positioned to outperform Bitcoin on shorter time frames. I certainly hope so. But that will do it for the trending articles in the crypto news space. My name is John. I would like to thank you for making it to the end here with me. We're going to talk about the top 10 cryptos by market cap here in just a second. But as always, thanks to everyone who's subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that little button wherever you find it. That way you can hear from me a bit more often. Typically, I try to post on weekdays, but I got a 1-month-old. It's the holiday season, and I'm working 12s. So I get to what I can get to. And that's just how it goes for a little bit. Hopefully, I'll get back onto a daily schedule or a semi-daily schedule here very soon. I do enjoy doing this for y'all. But looking at the top 10 coins by market cap, Bitcoin is scraping at 18,000. Like I said, I feel like we'll summit that here in in the day. Ethereum's holding on to 550 bucks. XRP is 55 cents. Not too bad. Oh, look at that. Bitcoin briefly popped above 18,000 and the live update took it down. Biggest loser in the top 10 on the day looks like Chainlink, down 3% on the day, though not honestly that bad in my opinion, down 12.8% on the week. It'll be fine. It truly will be fine. The biggest winner on the day, Monero, is up 0.07%. Good for Monero. So it's kind of a meh day overall. Biggest loser is NEM or XEM. It is down 10% on the day. Not too bad. But that will do it for the episode. I'll be catching y'all soon. Peace.